This is one section where you will find this, just to give you a background, this is a conversation between Narada Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj is the eldest of all the Pandavas. So this particular section, he gives a lot of different instructions about how to go about with our lives. But specifically, there is one section here in this chapter that discusses about how to solve material problems. I thought that will be very relevant, and you can read it directly from the scriptures itself. We won't have time to go through them in detail. Probably we'll do it across 2 sessions, today and next Friday. But I'll still encourage you to go through the purport for this chapter. So this particular chapter is titled Instructions for Civilized Human Beings. In Mahabharata, it is mentioned there are 4 activities which are common to all the 8.4 million species. Anyone knows what are the different species, or at least the categories of them? It is given in Bhagavatam Puran. Has anyone come across anywhere?
Aquatics.
Yes, aquatics is one. Good. Anything else?
Plants.
Plants. Yes. Any other? Can anyone think of any other species? Humans? Thank you. Insects, birds, animals, reptiles. Okay, so these are the different categories. It's given in Padma Puran. Jalaja Navalakshani, Stavara Laksha Vimshati. I think we covered everything. Jalaja is aquatics. Jalaja Navalakshani, Stavara Laksha Vimshati. The plants. Krimeo Rudra Sankyakaha, Pakshinam Dasalakshanam. Krimeo is worms. Pakshinam Dasalakshanam. There is like a 10 lakh varieties of birds, which is Pakshi. Trimshal Lakshani Pashavaha. There is 3 million varieties of different 4-legged animals. Okay, Pashavaha always means actually 4-legged. In the forest you will find anything, cows, lion, you name it. Then Chatur Lakshani Manushaha, it's given. 0.4 lakh or 400,000 species of humans. I can say, how do humans be categorized by, by such a huge number? Scriptures say that this categorization that's given is based on consciousness. Normally, if you study in your biology, we come across modern scientists, I think they found up to 2 million varieties. That's how many species. But that's mainly based on morphology. How they look, whether they have backbone, don't have backbone, whether they have a shell, don't have a shell, so on and so forth. But in Vedic times, the division is actually based on consciousness. So when it's said there is 400,000 species of humans, or 0.4 million is a human, it is based on consciousness. So in that comes, in humans also, if I ask you, just to throw a number, how many different kinds of people have you come across in your lives? Throw a number in your life. You have such huge experience of 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. How many?
Was like pretty unique.
You understand? Everyone is like almost unique. No two people are same. Even twins, when they are born, they look the same, but they behave differently. Understand? So 400. Now you may think there are unlimited varieties of humans. Only 400,000. We can be put into, it's the same old, repeat movie only. You will come across and then you come, I have come across this character in my life. Have you come across people like that? So you can actually categorize them, put them together. Okay, but it's based on, in this category comes ghosts. Surprise, surprise, they are also counted in this. Demigods, devatas, demons, everyone. Okay, so different varieties you come across. So Mahabharata says there are 4 activities that are common to all these 8.4 million species. You can be a plant, you can be an animal, you can be an insect, bird, reptile, anything. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitunam cha. 4 things only. Eating, Ahara, Nidra, sleeping, Bhaya, defending, Maituna. Maituna means sexual pleasure, mating. So, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha, samanyam etat pashubir naranam, which means these four activities are same for humans, which is nara, and pashu, animals. These four things. So, if a man is actually born, or woman is born, and if they do only these four activities, they are still not counted as humans yet. Okay, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha, samanyam. Samanyam means they both are same. Samanyam etad, all these four. Pashubir naranam. These four activities are same for pashu, animals and humans. Dharmo hitesham adhiko visesho. But humans are endowed with a special quality, which is intelligence, with which they can understand what is dharma, what is religious. You can't sit and give a class, Bhagavad Gita class to a dog, cow. Sometimes even some TikTok videos, some videos you will see. Even a dog, I saw one dog going around the tulsi. 3 rounds and it goes. You will come across cows coming and sitting and watching Lord Shiva. Some katha going on, Bhagavad Gita, sit and watch, get up and go. You will come across. Rare. Normally it doesn't happen like that. Okay, so dharmo hi tesham adhiko visesho. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha samanyam etad pashubir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko visesho. Visesho means a special unique quality for humans. What is it? They can inquire about dharma. Dharma means the nature, inherent nature. What is it which is inseparable from us? That's what dharma means. Generally or loosely we translate dharma as religion. We come across, or dharma for duty. People sometimes say, this is my dharma. But actually dharma means that which is an inherent quality of something. For example, if I tell you water, inherent quality of water is fluidity. Understand? Water means it has to flow. If it's remaining like a rock, then it's not water, it's just ice cube. Likewise, a dharma of fire is heat. Understand? If there is no heat, that means you know very well there is no fire there. Understand? That's why if a dead body, when they lie down, it's gone. All Panchabhuta effect is actually gone. There is no metabolism that's actually happening. So the body generally gets cold. Not generally. If it doesn't get cold, the person is not dead yet. When a person dies, there is no heat in the body. Okay, so when there is fire, dharma of fire is to heat. Dharma of water is to flow. Likewise, dharmo hitesham adhiko visesho. Dharma of human. If somebody has taken this human body, there is a certain dharma, satisfying which only you will be called as human. Dharmena hina pasibir samanaha. Dharmena hina means if humans are endowed with this wonderful quality of inquiring about dharma and then they fulfill the duty of human life, dharmena hina, if a human has actually given up dharma, pasibir samanaha, then they come down to the, even though they may be in the human body, but they come down to the level of animals. That's what's given. Okay, so this chapter is titled Instructions for Civilized Human Beings. Means those who are interested to go beyond these four activities of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Generally, if you look at modern lives, in modern society, everyone just follows these four. In one morning walk, Prabhupada says in Vedic times there is no divorce and there is no need for it. Do anyone know the reason why in Vedic times there is no divorce? You never come across. Show me one Vedic story which talks about divorce. Prabhupada says in ancient times people were very, very clear that the whole purpose of life is not to permanently make arrangement here and lie down and sleep here or just to go build down homes. Prabhupada says when somebody goes Panchasa Urdhva Vanam Vrajet, that's what it means, which means if somebody goes beyond 50% of their life, they'll hand over, by then they will have some grown-up son, grown-up daughter, they'll hand over everything to them and they'll go to the forest. So normally when they go to the forest, husband and wife will go together. In some instances, husband may take sannyas and go. So Prabhupada says there is a natural separation. What's the point of preponing the separation? Does that make sense? So Prabhupada says there is no need actually for divorce in Vedic times because everyone, male and female, young, old, everyone were very, very clear that purpose of life is not to just sit and enjoy. Purpose of life is to ready ourselves to go to a higher destination. And that is something which we can fulfill only in human life. If we don't understand that dharma and act on that platform, then dharmena hina pasibir samana. Then we are considered no better than animals. So this particular chapter goes in detail about what are the different qualities of an uncivilized human being. First, it lists down what are the different anarthas. Artha means that which has value. Anartha means it's negated, that which has no value. So some qualities that are given is like, envy. There is no value. You cannot make anything with that. Inspiration, you can do something with that. Understand? Envy, what can you do with that? You can burn inside. So it's considered anartha. Anger, it's considered anartha. Lust, it's considered anartha. Love is valued. Lust, anartha. Understand? So there's like kama, krodha, moha, illusion, anartha. Kama, krodha, moha, lobha, greed. Mada, matsarya, madness. You cannot do anything with madness. Understand? You can only go from bad to worse. That's all you can do. Understand? So these things are considered anarthas. First he will list down the different anarthas. And when you read this, you will be amazed how much Bhagavatam is actually addressing modern day problems, even in terms of anarthas. We think, suddenly you will come across some sadhu somewhere, who has never spoken to anyone, but he only sends, WhatsApp messages. You come across many, and you will see Narada Muni listing all of them 5,000 years ago. You will come across some places where, you go to your village or somewhere, your town, you will see people suddenly worshipping a tree. You ask them, you don't need to tell me the name of the god, just tell me the name of the tree. Nobody knows, but they still sit and worship. Understand? So all of these tendencies are there for humans since time immemorial. Nothing is new. I always say this, people think, we do everything woke, even homosexuality. Homosexuality is there in Bhagavatam. Very first day when Brahma created, homosexuality started then itself. It's there. I can show you the verse. So Prabhupada says nothing is new. In one place, Prabhupada says in morning work, study of fossils. There is a whole branch of science called paleontology. So Prabhupada says, what do you want to dig and see? You will see the exact same pattern only over and over again. So Prabhupada says there is nothing. When you think about discovering something, which means something which is totally unknown, you can go and discover. But something which has already happened, Prabhupada says there is nothing to discover. You can dig, keep on digging, but you won't come across anything better than what you see around now. Okay, if you look at what people actually come out with all those researchers and everything, okay, mummy, dead body, is that such a great thing? So many people die, so many people get buried every day. So it's not anything new. If you think about it, this was a vessel that was actually used in those days, or this was a statue that was like, a god of that civilization. You go to that civilization now, if it exists, civilization itself won't exist now most of the times. Like that, you won't see anything, some pottery, some spoons which is used by ancient man, something like, weird things you will come across. But nothing is new. So Prabhupada says, if you actually dig, you are not going to get anything new, better than what you see around. So don't waste your time in this. Understand, our whole process is not about just going back and feeling nostalgic about our past. There is a certain emotion you can take, but most important thing is, what is our future holding for us? How are we preparing for our future? How are we preparing for our eternal life? That's what the dharma of human life is. Understand? Why am I born? Prabhupada says, if there is a group of lamb, they go, the lamb knows that something is happening to my friends. They are just ahead of the queue. They get slaughtered there. But the lambs which are following, they are fed nice juicy grasses. So they keep eating and they follow. Prabhupada says they are so foolish without even knowing. When it comes to modern man working very hard in office, Prabhupada, actually there is a verse in Bhagavatam, Svavid Varaha Ustrakare Samstuta Purusha Pashu. It's given, without going into the detail, otherwise we won't be able to go into this. People who work hard day and night, 18 hours to 20 hours, they are considered to be donkeys, according to Bhagavatam. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, Svavid Varaha Ustrakare. 4 comparisons are given of 4 animals actually. Swa means dogs. There is one comparison for a certain kind of people. Swa vidvaraha means stool-eating hogs or pigs. Ustra, camels. Karai means asses or donkeys. Donkeys are relevant in this, so I'll just touch on donkeys. Reason, why do you think donkeys are usually considered foolish?
They do hard work, not smart work.
Say that again.
They do hard work.
They do hard work.
Not no smart work. I don't know.
They don't know smart work. No, you're there. Almost there. They do very, very hard work. Have you seen donkeys? Like, they carry such a big load. Okay, I'll keep asking questions, you answer. Why do they carry the load?
Because people ask them to.
People, you can't talk to a god.
And people just tell them to.
Okay, what is a donkey? You are answering good. What is a donkey gonna get in return?
Grass.
Grass.
Something.
So Shastra say donkeys are so stupid, they are thinking I have to carry this whole load for 20 hours to get a little bit of grass. When it can just take the grass on the side of the road. Understand, it doesn't need a master. It can just go and eat anywhere. Nobody is gonna catch it. But still it feels, my master is so merciful. If I work very hard, then it will actually give. Guess who donkeys are compared to? Whoever is a 9-to-5 job. According to scriptures. So it's given Swavid Varaha Ustra Karai. Karai means donkeys. So whoever works hard without knowing, madly just working day in and day out, spoiling their health, spoiling their time, their energy, the mental peace, everything. So they are considered to be donkeys. So instruction of civilized human beings means first he will list down what are the different anarthas. That's where I started. Artha means that which has value. Anartha means that which has no value. You will come across this word anartha so many times in scriptures. Anartha means literally that which has no value. That's what it means. Okay. A-R-T-H-A is artha. And artha or anartha means that which has no value. Okay, so we'll go through these verses. Narada Muni visits the Pandavas and then he gives them instructions. First he narrates about in 7th canto you will come across narration of Prahlad Maharaj. And Narada Muni glorifies about Prahlad Maharaj, who is none other than his own disciple. But as a spiritual master, he is so proud of his disciple that he sits and glorifies him to another disciple, which is Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay, we will go through that. This is a very interesting chapter. What I'm going to ask you to do is, we'll take turns. Each one of you read the text alone. We won't go into the depth of each one of them, but it will give you a context. And then when we go to the actual section, we'll spend more time there. Okay, so you can just go. There is no order.
I have a question.
You already have a question. Come on, go for it.
You listed the anarthas list. So greed is one of the anarthas. What's the difference between being greedy and being ambitious? Because let's say I have some ambition, but some people can say, oh Khushi, you're being greedy, you should just settle.
Yep.
If I settle, then I'm not happy.
Greedy means you will go and indiscriminately compromise on things which are of value to you.
Give me an example.
Let us say, if you work for 10 hours in a day, let's say you make X amount of money, let's say you make $1,000. Actually, even $1,000 is plenty for you. But if you think, why just stop with the 10 when there is an opportunity to work for another 5 hours more, so I'll get another $500 more. That's greed. Because what are you going to lose in the process?
Gotcha.
Understand? Ambitious is okay to have ambition. I have a certain goal. So then how much is too much? You understand based on how much can I work along with taking care of me, my family, my health, my spiritual life, everything in all. Now capacity varies. For some, their capacity will be more, they'll be able to do. But we can't go compete with them, because one point we have to understand is this is not our first life. How many of you believe you are just born from the spiritual world? How many of you believe, I think I've been around for some time. Okay, I was once in a class, I had a lot of time, so I asked, so take a prediction, what was your previous life? I'm not going to go there. Okay, so we have been there, which means there are some karma we have done in the past. Let's say if I come with a lot of good karma baggage, even without working hard, I'll be a millionaire. Or whatever I touch will turn gold. At least that's how it seems. Actually, it's not like whatever I touch turns gold. I did a lot of good karma in the past. Because of that, it looks like with just a little effort, I'm getting everything. Okay, nothing happens by chance. Understand? So because we are not starting from a neutral ground, we are not starting from the scratch either. So we have to understand that, okay, I have a certain baggage with which I actually carry. Some people will have carry better baggage than me. So I should just be satisfied with whatever I actually get. Not with the sour grapes philosophy. You know the fox story. Fox goes, tries to eat the... How many of you know the sour grapes story? Anyone read in your childhood? No?
I read, but I don't remember.
Okay, there was one fox. I read it in my upper kindergarten, man. UKG. You know, show, like, you know, see the story and tell the story. It's like that. One fox comes and it sees a, you know, big bunch of grapes. And the fox tries. It looks very juicy. The fox wanted to enjoy. Tries so many times, you know, jumps up, goes a little back, again comes and jumps, still couldn't. Finally, when it realizes it can't get it, he says, it concludes, you know, what's the point in this? Anyway, these grapes are sour. Saying like that, shrugs off and he just walks away. Actually, it's a sore loser, but this is how it is cheating itself. Understand? So when we lead our lives, we need to be clear with our priorities, and then we have to do. Our growth has to be holistic. Okay, imagine if one guy goes to a gym and just lifts the dumbbell, rest of the body looks normal, hand alone will like it. That's a deformity, correct? So our life should not be like that. Our life should be holistic. Okay, so we'll read. Take turns. Kritika, you have it? So go to text 1. Just in the link that I actually sent, just keep scrolling. You'll see text 1. Just read the text 1. And then next person text 2, next 3. Keep going like that.
Narada Muni continued, my dear king, some Brahmanas are very much attached to fruitative activities. Some are attached to austerities and
penances,
and still others study the Vedic literature, whereas some, although very few, cultivate knowledge and practice different yogas, especially Bhakti Yoga.
So Narada Muni mentions even among Brahmanas there are different categories of Brahmanas. Some are attached to fruitive activities. Fruitive activities means this kind of Brahmanas you will come across many. In your whole life, this is the kind of Brahmanas you would have come across. Okay, you have some housewarming ceremony, some Brahmana will come. You have some Shraddha ceremony, some Brahmana will come. If you say, no, I won't give you any Dakshina, they'll say like, no, or they'll actually sit and argue, they'll negotiate. You know, you have to give me this, otherwise I won't do this. They are all Karmakanda, it's known as Karmakanda Brahmanas. Likewise, some are attached to austerities and penances, which means there are some kind of Brahmanas who will be doing more, austerities. Austerities means tapasya. Okay, they'll fast. All for some material well-being. You know, today is Shanivar, I'll actually do this to please, Lord Shani. So he'll be, or at least he won't look at me, he'll look somewhere else. Like that you will come across. So like that, there are others who study Vedic literatures also. Some Brahmanas, they study the Shastras. Whereas some, although few, cultivate knowledge and practice, some are yogis also. So in this way, Brahmanas can be karmis, they can be jnanis, they can be yogis also. Continue. Next.
A person desiring liberation for his forefathers or himself should give charity to a Brahmana. For this too, impersonal monism. In absence of such advanced Brahmana, charity may be given to a Brahmana and it to fruitive activities.
So even among these kind of Brahmanas, there is a certain gradation. Those Brahmanas who are just after some material well-being, they are considered to be in a lower level compared to somebody who is performing austerities and penances like that. They are considered more advanced. Okay, next.
During the period for offering oblations to the demigods, one should invite only 2 Brahmanas, and while offering oblations to the forefathers, one may invite 3 Brahmanas, or in either case, only 1 Brahmana will suffice. Even though one is very opulent, he should not endeavor to invite more Brahmanas or make various expensive arrangements on those occasions.
You see how precise he is going. He is saying, for offering oblations to the demigods, if you are worshipping, some karma kanda ritual you are doing to worship a devata, like let's say It's given. If somebody wants to be very powerful, one should worship Agni Dev. If somebody wants to be a big influencer, would you like to know the name of demigod? There is a demigod for that, actually, Sadhya. Like that, if somebody wants to be very famous, if somebody wants to win over the neighboring kingdom, there is like different demigods for each one of them. That's a different section. If you remind me, I'll take you through that section probably at the end of the class. Okay, there are different demigods that are given. But the point here is that even whenever somebody actually invites brahmanas, one should not make very elaborate arrangements and invite too many brahmanas. Why is it so? Just take a wild guess. Prabhupada explains in the purport the reason why you should not invite too many brahmanas to conduct a ritual. What could be the reason? Anju. What could be the reason for Narada Muni telling don't invite too many brahmanas to perform?
Probability of like mixing up.
Okay, close. Suman.
Because the purpose is not to earn money.
Okay, I take that. Mega. Why do you think not too many people should be invited? Brahmanas shouldn't be invited for performing the ritual. It's a very practical reason.
Okay, I haven't read the Prabhupada, but I'm just going to take a guess.
Yeah, it's a guess only. I'm asking you to make a wild guess.
I feel like maybe something to do with like, so like even if you're rich, like the idea is not to make a big show and make it extravagant. It's like bhakti is the same level playing field for everyone.
Okay, I take that. Prabhupada mentions about that point also. But there is one other practical reason why we should not invite too many.
Maybe there is mentioned in the verse before there are like 4 types of brahmana. So we don't know on which level the brahmana is very inviting. So they have different level of knowledge. So they make class.
Okay.
Like if one person starts doing it, everyone keeps following it. It will be like
Okay, I take that.
They have different way of doing the same thing, or if there's a havan doing like who is doing first, who is doing second.
Okay, I take that.
charity.
Bingo. Okay. What is it? Say that again.
Charity.
Means?
We have to give something from
Giving charity to brahmanas is not easy. So the whole idea now of Narada Muni is you better just invite as much as is needed. More you invite, liability is going to be more. And if brahmanas are not satisfied, they'll curse you and go. You are laughing. I'll tell you one story. In 10th canto, Bhagavatam, it's there. Actually, one day Krishna had through each one. How many wives did Krishna have? 16,108. Through each one of them, Krishna begot 10 sons and 1 daughter. So one day, his sons were all playing, in a park nearby. They were playing ball. Playing ball was there since the, again, dawn of creation. Manu's daughter play balls. It's given. Devahuti. We'll see that in 3rd canto. But she was so beautiful, the Gandharvas, they used to go on airplane, they'll look at her and they'll faint and they'll fall from the plane. It's given like that. So here also they play balls, they throw ball. And you come across even Pandavas, they play balls and the ball goes and falls on in a well. And then they ask Dronacharya, who was just a Brahmana who happened to pass by. And he asked them to just get the reeds, like a tall grass. He gets a bunch of grass, throws one, it comes and pierces the ball. Throws the next grass, it comes and pierces on the first grass. Like that, he makes a chain and then he pulls it out. So when Bhishma Dev hears about that, Bhishma Dev actually says, there's only one person in the whole world who could do that. That's your guru. That's how he goes and recruits. Interview over. So here, so in Krishna's Leela, you will see one day his boys were all playing. And when they were playing, they actually see there is a big well, and in the well, they see a big lizard. So when they see this unusually sized lizard, they go running to their father. Papa, please come. And Krishna comes there, he sees. When he looks at the lizard, he takes pity. Krishna just stretches his hand and touches the lizard. When he touches the lizard gives up its body. Abracadabra, a human comes out with the attire of a king. And then he introduces himself. My name is Nirga. I was a very, very pious king. I'm known for the charities that I give. And one sacrifice that I did, I had invited all the best Brahmanas in the whole world. And as part of the Vedic sacrifice, I was giving charity, cows, by millions. And when one Brahmana came, I have handed over millions of cows to him. And then when that batch of cows left, without anyone's knowledge, one cow from that batch had come and mixed with the next batch. Without knowing that, I had given that batch to another Brahmana. So his only mistake was, he ended up giving the same cow to two Brahmanas. So when the first Brahmana comes to know about this, he has millions. Karma, that's the problem with Karma Gandhi Brahmanas. Their dharma is, they are supposed to get and they are supposed to give away everything by sunset. That's their dharma. A Brahmana means, they will have wealth, but they won't be attached to it. They will put themselves in a situation so that they will sleep as a pauper. Daytime they may be like a king, whatever comes. By evening they have to give charity, again they will sleep as a pauper. In this way they will always be dependent on the Supreme Lord. Okay, normally we think about Brahmanas in Vedic times, we generally think Brahmanas means they'll just go and collect donation. No, 6 dharmas are there. Patan, yajan, yajan, dana, pratigraha. They have to study Shastra, they have to teach Shastra. 2 things. Okay, patan, yajan, yajan. They have to do yagya, fire sacrifice. They have to teach others to do fire sacrifice. Modern day Brahmanas, they try to monopolize it. It's only us who know the Sanskrit. Others shouldn't know. That's not Vedic Brahmanas. Okay, patan, yajan, yajan. Yajan means they do yagya. Yajan means they teach people. Okay, patan, yajan, yajan, dana, pratigraha. This is very important. They accept charity. Unfortunately, because we generally see Brahmanas only accepting charity, we think they always beg. Dana, pratigraha. Pratigraha is when they are actually accepting dana, they are supposed to give charity. But that part is usually, we don't have good examples of that, unfortunately, in Kali Yuga. Understand? So in this case, they were also Karmakanda Brahmanas. He already got millions of cows from Nirga. And he is saying, you stole one of my cow. Says who? Who just got all of them in charity. Nirga is like, oh my dear Brahmana, I'm really, really sorry. Somehow the mix-up happened. In return of, or in place of that one cow, I will give you another million. Little kids, when they break something, he say like, okay, it's fine. I'll give you another pen. No, I want only that. Like that, the Brahmana says, no, I want my cow only. Then he says, okay, please give me some time. Then he goes to the second Brahmana and he explains about his predicament. And then he says, if you just let go of that cow to that guy, I will give you another million in exchange for that one cow. He says, no, I want this cow only. So the king is in a fix. First Brahmana comes and curses him. You are a stealer of Brahmana's property. He curses him and he goes. Can you imagine? So this king, time rolls by, he dies. All this story is narrated by the king to Krishna. Of course, Krishna knows everything. So, but Krishna actually tells a moral of the story to his sons at the end. So then he dies. At the end of his life, his soul is taken to Yamaloka. In Yamaloka, Yamaraj is the king in Yamapuri. The capital of Yamaloka is known as Samyamani. Okay, so in Samyamani, there is a big assembly. Yamaraj is the king. And then there, they will bring each one of the souls that had passed away. And then Chitragupta. Chitragupta is his stenographer. Whatever that happens, the reason why his name is Chitragupta, he is minister of Yamaraj, is Chitra means like image. Whatever that we do, he captures the image. And he keeps on storing. I was once listening to one Prabhupada's class, one Prabhupada's disciples class. And he was saying, we used to be hippies before, and we are those guys who crashed the hard disk of Chitragupta because we did so much. So he was saying like that, in a humorous way. So Chitragupta means he takes a photo, images of everything. So when if we happen to go, so then Chitragupta will actually show a projection, 3D projection, and we'll see everything. So like that, when Yamaraj actually, when Nirga's turn comes, he asks Chitragupta, tell me about his background. Then Chitragupta shows everything, and Yamaraj, all he could see was sacrifice, 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 curse, sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. So much he has given, so many millions he has given, one tiny mistake he has done. So Yamaraj calls him and he says like, hey, you have done so much pious activity, so much so that if I give you benefit of that, I don't see any end for it. Okay, any end for it means by the time I keep giving you the punya, you enjoy the punya, you will keep on enjoying until the world gets destroyed. Can you believe? That's how much you have done. But you have done one tiny mistake. So he says, because you come from such a very unusual circumstance, I'll give you a choice. You can either choose to enjoy your punya, the end of which nobody could see, which means literally for rest of existence, this is how it will be. You'll be enjoying in some heavenly planet. Or you can choose to actually go through the punishment for that tiny sin you did, which is unknowingly. Scriptures are also very considerate. In Vedic times also, Yamaraj is not somebody who would just indiscriminately, you killed, he'll just like, kill people. It's not like that. He will go through a process there. So just like in modern times also, cold-blooded murder, they will attract more grave punishment than somebody, fit of rage, they just like, did something. Understand? So the punishment, even though the act may be the same, punishment would actually vary. Likewise, Yamaraj is very considerate and he asks him, which one do you want to go with? Because I can say you did only one mistake and that too unintentionally. So I give you the choice. Make up your mind and choose. Nirga thinks, if you are in his position, which one will you go for? Enjoyment first or suffering first? You are all qualified to be Nirga. Why suffering first? Okay.
Then
Just go through this one and then you can enjoy. Okay? Anyone else?
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it will always be on your report card.
You can't enjoy, correct? If let us say you have a big meal plate right in front of you, and first thing they serve is bitter gourd, and they have sweets, this, that, everything. Which one will you finish first? Because first we want to get rid of that. Now I can enjoy. Always you will save the best for the end. So he tells him, let me go through the punishment first. And then Yamaraj says, okay, so be it. That's how he is born as a lizard. But he says, because your intention is still not like so bad, you will still be delivered. So he gives him the blessing and then he gets born as a lizard of all the places in the backyard of Krishna and Dwaraka. And then Krishna liberates him. Now the point here is, when he narrates his story, he tells to Krishna, I have given so much in charity, so much so. Even you might have heard about me. He tells to Krishna. When I read that, I was like, bloody, you deserve to be punished. You are flaunting in front of Supreme Lord. So he says like that, even you might have heard about me. So then Krishna is standing right in front. So he tells to Krishna, okay, thank you very much for relieving me of the curse. And then that's it. He says bye-bye and he goes back to heavenly kingdom. He could have asked him just to make me a devotee. He could have asked him, just take me to spiritual world. That's all. He wasn't very interested. He just goes away. Okay, so Brahmanas, pleasing them is not easy. Here also, you see, he had so much wealth. Still, he couldn't please Brahmanas. Understand? Because Brahmanas are also very picky, especially Karmakandi Brahmanas. Understand? So, we have to understand the Vedic rituals or sacrifices, even in Vedic times, is not done just for fashion, just for prestige. Modern times you will come across so many people doing like that, just to attract, media attention, attract, general social attention like that. That's not the purpose of rituals. Rituals are done for a certain purpose. So Narada Muni is saying, do just enough, irrespective of what your means are. Okay, that's what he's saying. Continue. At this pace, I don't think we'll go past 10 verses, but anyway, continue. Let's see how much. Yeah.
If one arranges to feed many brahmanas or relatives during the Shraddh ceremony, there will be discrepancies in the time, place, respectively, and ingredients, the person to be worshipped, and the method of offering worship.
So that's why he's saying, keep it simple. Just invite one brahmana, that is enough, sufficient. Continue.
When one gets the opportunity of a suitable, auspicious time and place, one should, with love, offer food prepared with ghee to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then offer the prasad to a suitable person, a Vaishnava or Brahmana. This will be the cause of everlasting prosperity.
Very important. Prabhupada says in one purport, in Kali Yuga, nobody has enough wealth to do charity. Correct? You can take the world's richest person. Even his, I think last night the stock went down by 8%. Okay, so even he's just like, quite wavering. So Prabhupada says in Kali Yuga, no one has enough money to give in charity. So Prabhupada says it's much better to make some nice bhoga, offer to Krishna and distribute prasad. Distributing prasad, prasadam distribution is much better than wealth distribution because nobody has enough wealth. But food everyone has, and everyone can do whatever that they can, within their small means, whatever that is within their capacity. So it's given, when one gets the opportunity of a suitable, auspicious time and place, one should, with love, offer food prepared with ghee to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They make rangoli. Again, these days they use all colors, chemicals, but actual rangoli is made with rice grains. Okay, if you go to you can ask your parents, definitely they would know. You can ask your grandparents, 100% they would know. How many of you here know how to make rangoli? I know, that's why I'm putting my hand up. I used to go compete with everything, when you are young. So actually it's just rice grain, but it's ground, not like so much, not like a total, like a powder. It will still be grainy. You put it and you can actually see ants, they'll come and they'll pick up. That's the whole idea. You are distributing the wealth and distributing the food for the tiny. That's why I always wonder, early morning we put, nobody actually takes it away. Next day it's gone. Who takes it? I remember asking my aunt once and she said, look at that ant is taking. Then I was like watching, okay. How many of you have played with the ants? Ants come, you put your finger here, stupid. It curses and then it goes around. How many of you have played? Good. You have enjoyed your childhood. So we have done all little playful things, understand? So in Vedic times, the prosperity means not just humans are happy, it's for everyone. Okay, you will come across a story in Ram Leela. Once, this story is very funny. Once Lord Ram actually tells to his ministers, we will have a bell that's hanging out just outside the palace. Whoever wants audience with me, they have to just ring and I'll immediately call for the assembly. So they keep it, but Lord Ram, Maryada Purushottam, he is doing his rules so well, nobody rings. So every day, but still Lord Ram would religiously ask, is anyone ringing? Anyone ringing? So one day he says, go outside and see if somebody is ringing. He goes and there was one dog, ping, ping. Then Lord Ram says, no, please bring the dog. And when the dog comes, Lord Ram actually offers respects and he says, what can I actually do for you? Why did you ring the bell? And much to everyone's surprise, the dog makes a complaint. And the dog says that I was beaten by a Brahmana unfairly. Then Lord Ram says, do you know the name of the Brahmana? Dog says, yes. Spells out the name. Lord Ram sends the soldiers to bring the Brahmana. So they bring the Brahmana. And then the dog says, what did you do? And then he asks Brahmana. Brahmana also admits, yeah, I was out of my mind at that time, so in a fit of rage, I just bet the dog indiscriminately. Then the dog is the victim, so Lord Ram turns towards the dog and he says, all right, Brahmana is admitting his mistake. You tell us, what punishment should we give to this Brahmana? The dog thinks for a while. And then looks at Lord Ram and he says, there is one mata of people there, like monks, spiritualists there. Mata is like a mutt. He tells him, you make him the head of that mutt. Everyone gets shocked. Lord Ram asks, How is that a punishment? He says, no, if he becomes the head of that mutt, because it's such a prestigious spiritual organization, it's in Rama in this story. It's a spiritual organization, so when he's there, everyone will worship him. So he'll get so much puffed up. Because of that, he'll end up offending people. And then his punishment will start. Master plan. And then Lord Ram asks an interesting question. How do you know about it? He says, I used to be the chief of that organization. So it says, I used to be the head, and this is how I fall down. Look, I'm in dog's body now. And I want the same punishment for him. Then Lord Ram says, okay, so be it. Understand? So, Vedic times, everyone was actually given justice. Everyone. Prabhupada says, Praja. Ja means like Padmaja. One of name of Lord Brahma is Padmaja. Okay, one who was, Padma means lotus. One who was born on lotus. Okay, from Vishnu's navel, a big lotus came, and Vishnu just created him like that. So, Lord Brahma is known as Padmaja, which means one who took birth from lotus. He is known as Padmaja. Prabhupada says likewise, Praja. Praja means if there is a king, who is this Praja? Whoever who has taken birth within the jurisdiction of his kingdom. All 8.4 million species, not just humans. Understand? Praja means, Prabhupada says, this is Praja. In Vedic times, a king is ruling means anybody who has taken birth in his kingdom. They are all considered Praja. Even in Bhagavatam, you will come across many stories like that. Understand? So, the Vedic lifestyle is holistic. It's not just for humans. Vedic lifestyle recognizes that this world is for all the living beings, not just for humans. There was no question of exploiting it. Understand? So, here, when one gets an opportunity of suitable, auspicious time and place, one should offer charity. Charity, specifically, it's given as food, because Prabhupada says in Kali Yuga nobody has money, but everyone has something. So, if you take, for example, any fire sacrifice is not completed. There are few things that needs to be done to make a fire sacrifice complete. There has to be recitation of mantra. There has to be chanting of holy name. There has to be dakshina that is supposed to be given to the Brahmana who performed the fire sacrifice. Guess what will happen otherwise? Whatever Brahmana does, let's say a king builds a huge temple and he invites a Brahmana to come and perform the fire sacrifice, Graha Pravesh or Kumbhabhishek. He comes and performs. King forgets to give him the charity. Brahmana will take the full benefit of actually constructing the temple, even though the king is the one who actually went through. So all the punya will actually go to the Brahmana. So whenever you buy home, you invite a Brahmana, make sure you give some dakshina, whatever. If you don't give dakshina, you give, don't worry about it. If you don't give the dakshina, then the Brahmana will actually take away the benefit, like that. Okay, like that, prasadam has to be given. There has to be distribution of prasadam. There has to be chanting the holy name of the Lord. Okay, like that. So here, it's given when one gets an opportunity of suitable, auspicious time and place, one should with love offer food prepared with ghee to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada would say, ghee is for inside body, all the other oils for outside body. Okay, I was listening to Dinabandhu Prabhu's class. In one class he was saying they did research. The ghee that is made with unhomogenized milk. Normally people have a say, like, ghee is considered like a taboo ingredient, it will increase the cholesterol. That's what we generally think. One reason why people don't take ghee is because of that. But Prabhu was actually saying, they did the research and they found that the ghee that was made of unhomogenized milk surprisingly actually reduced the body cholesterol. But the ghee that is made out of homogenized milk increases the body cholesterol. Interesting. Okay, so here, Vedic times, Cooking food means with ghee. Prabhupada took prasad cooked with ghee only. And then once they asked Prabhupada, what about oil? Oil is for outside body, ghee is for inside body, which means anything edible, Prabhupada says it has to be with ghee. We don't need to imitate that now, but understand, one day we will come there, or we'll get there. Till that point, hang in there. Okay, so it has to be offered to everyone, the prasada to a suitable person, a Vaishnava or a Brahmana. Okay, text 6.
One should offer prasada to the demigods, specific persons, one's forefathers, the people in general, one's family members, one's relatives and one's friends, seeing them all as devotees of the Supreme Person.
So prasad should be offered for everyone. Point we noted here is one should offer prasad to the demigods. Okay, devatas we can understand, because just like how we are trying to be devotees of God, devatas are also trying to be devotees of God. So if you invite devatas, you don't offer the prasad for them, they will take offense. So even, where is it given? One should offer prasada to the demigods. First you offer it to Supreme Lord Krishna, that prasad you then offer it to the demigods, saintly persons, forefathers. Forefathers means whoever who's, okay, we have father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Anyone knows your previous generation names? Okay, anyone knows here name of your okay, grandfather's name, do you know?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me start from there. Okay, great-grandfather.
I do.
Okay, great-great-great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather.
I do.
Great-great-great? Anyone? No. So, I know up to 7 generations. That's how much my grandfather knows, so he told me. We don't know anything beyond that. Okay, so, point we have to understand is, Vedic culture again, it's not for just humans, not for just animals that you see around. It's even for people who had already passed away. Okay, so you offer prasad to them to maintain them. If they are in a higher planetary system, it will actually maintain them there, if that's their desire. But if they want to actually make spiritual progress, because they are taking prasadam, you offer it to them, they can actually progress even from there. Or if by chance your forefathers are in hellish kingdom, down, then offering prasad to them will actually liberate them from lower planetary systems also. So in whichever position they are in, it will still benefit them. Okay, so that's the reason why it said it has to be offered to forefathers also. And once family members, relatives, friends, seeing them all as devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, next one.
A person fully aware of religious principles should never offer anything like meat, eggs or fish in the Shraddha ceremony.
So Shraddha ceremony is like the death anniversary. Okay, so every year on that tithi we perform. Yeah.
And even if one is a Kshatriya, he himself should not eat such things. When suitable food is prepared, it is offered to saintly persons. The function is pleasing to the forefathers and the Supreme Lord, who are never pleased when animals are killed in the name of sacrifice.
Self-explanatory. So we should not, in the name of sacrifice, one should not kill animals. Yes, next.
Persons who want to advance in superior religion are advised to give up all envy of other living entities, whether in relationship to the body, words, or mind. There is no religion superior to this.
Why is it given persons who want to advance in superior religion are advised to give up all envy? Are you envious of a dog? Cat? Mosquito? Then why is it given envy? I'll give you a hint. In one place, Prabhupada translates meat eating as envy. How is meat eating considered envy towards animals? Okay. No compassion. Okay.
So it shouldn't fall envious, but maybe you're thinking yourself as superior.
10 out of 10. Prabhupada says that. Why do people actually kill animals and eat? Because they think, I'm human here, only I deserve to actually live here. That way they show the envy and actually they disrespect them. Understand? Underlying principle is just that. Imagine if, why do you think, I'll give you some modern example. Okay, in some countries you see if a poor guy gets killed in the street, nobody cares. But the same thing, even, some millionaire will be there, slightly their car gets scratched, they make a big hoo-ha about it. Have you seen it? It's in humans only, you see such a big reduction. Understand? So in animals, nobody actually cares, unless it's like, Lord Ram's times when, even a dog can go and ask for justice. People generally think only we are superior, everything is just for us, not for them. Understand? So the underlying thought process, whether people recognize or not, before they actually eat meat, is envy only, is that superiority complex. Okay, Prabhupada writes about this in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, when just at the beginning of Kali Yuga, Prabhupada actually elaborates in detail about what are the different symptoms in Kali Yuga. There Prabhupada actually elaborates and he makes the connection between envy and meat eating. Understand? If somebody eats meat, which means they are envious of that living creature, because they are thinking only I deserve to live here, not you. I'm envious of you. Understand? Yes.
Prabhuji, does that mean having a pet animals and trying to be their master is also envy?
Yes. Can I tell you something about that? Once, one of Prabhupada's early disciples, the Mataji was carrying a baby, and few months later she had a miscarriage, and then Prabhupada asked the first question, do you have pets? And the husband got shocked. Both are Prabhupada's disciples, Western disciples, and he said yes. And then Prabhupada asks, is that a cat? Now he gets even more shocked. He says, yes, Prabhupada. Then he says, get rid of the cat. Because Prabhupada says, cats are, you can even read this in Leelamrita also, it's there. Otherwise there is a book called By His Example. You can read that. The same disciple actually documents, Gurudas Prabhu documents that. Prabhupada says, cats are so pampered, they think, okay, I am part of this family. But they'll clearly sense when a woman in the family is actually conceived, knowing very well that as soon as the baby comes, my pampering will be reduced. Now listen to this shocking part. Prabhupada says, thinking that way the cats would actually pray to God to not get the baby be born. Dangerous. Okay, so pets, we may think we are actually keeping them in a very comfy position and everything. Like, for us also, you can go to some programs and they will serve you, like, there's like, 20 course, 50 course meal. But if it's not prasad, according to their capacity, they think this is the best thing for you and they present it. But for us, we know that, no matter what you bring, I need Mahaprasad only. Understand? So we need to be mindful there. Sometimes I get asked this question. So Prabhu, but before coming to Krishna consciousness, I had my pet. Okay, continue to keep them, give them prasad, make them actually more fortunate. But the animals, most of the times, the people in the name of taking care, they just like, it's like fish out of water. It's not their natural habitat. It's not, they won't be happy. Or how we perceive as them being happy is not actually the happiness. Okay. Okay, so envy, meat eating means it has its roots in envy. So like that. Other thing Prabhupada said about a cat is, even if you bathe the cat, you know what the cat do? They lick their body. So Prabhupada says, no matter what you do, the cat will always be impure only. If you touch the cat, you are already impure. It's like touching your mouth. Because they always do that. Okay, so Prabhupada had a lot of interesting insights actually about modern lifestyle. Yes, next.
The
because of an awakening of spiritual knowledge, those who are intelligent in regard to sacrifice, who are actually aware of religious principles, and who are free from material desires, control themselves in the fire of spiritual knowledge or knowledge of the absolute truth, they may give up the process of ritualistic ceremony.
So when person actually does some ritual over a period of time because of the association of a proper Brahmana, when they come across a proper Brahmana, they'll also develop some detachment. Because the Brahmana at some point would actually tell them. There is one instance you will see in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. They offer prayers and finally Supreme Lord comes. So when Supreme Lord comes, then he asks, so what do you want? You have performed the ceremony and I am here. What boon do you want? Until that point the Brahmanas keep doing. As soon as they see the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas are the first one to talk, even though it was the king who had actually asked. The Brahmanas say, my Lord, we know attaining you is the supreme destination for all living entities. But this unintelligent king asked us to perform. They complain to Supreme Lord. And then the Lord turns towards him. This is Rishabdev's father actually. So then the Lord turns towards him and then he asks, Nabi. This is Nabi and Merudevi. Yeah. So this is Nabi, King Nabi. So then Supreme Lord turns towards him and he asks, so what do you want? Why did he engage the Brahmanas to perform? Then Nabi and his wife Merudevi, they ask with words choking up with love, with awe and reverence, they ask, my Lord, we want to have a son who is as good as you. Then Vishnu looks at them. When you read Bhagavatam, prayers and Leela, if you put yourself in the situation, you will understand Bhagavatam will speak to you. Understand? It will be like, it will emote with you. So when they pray, Vishnu looks at them, smiles compassionately and he says, there is nobody like me. But since you decide a son like me, I myself will become your son. That's how Rishabdev comes. Understand? When Rishabdev comes, Indra gets... Because when Rishabdev comes, all the whole surroundings and everything shows so many auspicious signs. Indra, he gets a little afraid, looks like there is a competitor there. So Indra feels like, I'll stop the rain now. So Indra stops the rain. And baby Rishabdev is there. And the people are actually telling to his father, oh my dear king, there's no rain here. Then right in front of them, the baby just picks up the finger like this. All the clouds come together and rain falls. And the baby starts crying again. So you will find many sweet pastimes of Lord like that. Understand? But the point here is, when one actually still performs all the ritualistic sacrifices like that, they may come across a Brahmana who will then give them some Atma Vidya, knowledge of self-realization, with which they will be able to go one step further. Okay, next.
Upon seeing the person engaged in performing the sacrifice, animals meant to be sacrificed are extremely afraid, thinking this merciless performer of sacrifices, being ignorant of the purpose of sacrifice and being most satisfied by killing others, will surely kill us.
They'll go through the...
I need some books.
Can come later. So here, upon seeing the person engaged in performing the sacrifice, animals meant to be sacrificed. Animals are in a very helpless situation there. They are looking at him, cursing. Which means the karma will come and affect the person who is actually killing them. What are they thinking? This merciless performer of sacrifices, being ignorant of the purpose of sacrifice and being most satisfied by killing others, will surely kill us. So they helplessly look. To stop all this merciless killing, only Lord Buddha appeared. There is only one mission for Lord Buddha, which is to stop animal killing. So when Buddha came, people were still misusing the Vedic scriptures, saying, see, it's given in Vedas. Buddha said, Vedas, there is no Vedas. Buddha rejected it. Buddha rejected the scriptures completely, even though he is Supreme Lord. Because people were misusing the Vedas to kill animals, and he wanted to first stop them killing animals, because by killing animals, the whole humanity is gliding down. So he wanted to stop. He says like, what's your problem? Oh, Vedas say this. There is nothing called Vedas. What about God? Everything ends in Shunya. He completely bewilders them, preaching them Shunyavada. Okay, so Buddhism, you can ask any Buddhist if they read the scripture, their scripture properly, you can ask them, so what's the final destination? Okay, we are practicing devotees. If I ask, what's your final destination? He will say, ultimately, I'll go back to spiritual world to be with Krishna. You ask, put that question to a Buddhist. You will get very interesting answer. And the answer will be, yeah, you will reincarnate. As long as you have the desire, as long as you have karma, you will reincarnate. How long? Until you become desireless. After that, what will happen? Then they'll say you will cease to exist. That's it. Understand? That's Buddhism. That's why it is known as Shunyavada. Shunya means zero. Ultimately, everything becomes void. That's Buddhism. Because Buddha rejected the scriptures, we reject Buddha's teachings. Okay, in modern times, you will come across many, we mentioned about this also before, many so-called gurus who completely reject scriptures. Even when Supreme Lord comes and rejects scriptures, we reject the Supreme Lord. That's why we don't worship Buddha. What to speak of mundane beings who concoct their own, we are coming there now, sorry. What about mundane beings who, concoct their own thing and they say, I don't need to study scriptures. I'll just tell you everything. By the way, just to follow me. You see the hypocrisy there? You don't follow scriptures. Why should we follow scriptures? But by saying that, he is posing himself as the authority now. Understand? That's a hypocrisy. Even he himself is not following his own philosophy. Understand? But people without knowing, without even having that level of intelligence to question, they still follow. And you will come across this similar godmen over and over again. Okay, some people will reject God, still they will have God-like following. Some people will say, I don't follow scriptures, still they will have God-like following. But then, is there any spiritual credit for any of that? Unfortunately not. Okay, yes, they may not be sin, but they won't make much progress also in terms of spiritual evolution. Okay, read next one. Next, why is so much delay? Keep reading, whoever has it, read.
Therefore, day by day, one who is actually aware of religious principles and is not heinously envious of poor animals should happily perform daily sacrifice, and those for certain occasions with whatever food is available easily by the grace of God.
So we also perform daily sacrifices by chanting. How is chanting sacrifice? Using this tongue, I can talk any nonsense, but I am curbing that tendency to do something spiritual there. Understand? Likewise, my ears can actually do so many other things. Hearing movie songs, some metallic songs, anything. But I am engaging my sense of hearing in hearing about Krishna. Understand? So I am sacrificing my choice in that sense. Understand? For a higher purpose. So this is considered sacrifice. So in Kali Yuga, it is said, chanting the holy name alone is the only sacrifice you can do. Because these days, I'm not joking, one big challenge I have while performing fire yagya, guess what? Lighting camphor. Even though camphor is supposed to actually catch fire, you go and buy camphor in the shops these days, you light, you have to keep on holding it, still it doesn't catch fire. Have you come across camphor which doesn't catch fire at all? Again and again, it's like increasing. Initially, it will be like, 1 in 10 batches would be like that. Now, 9 out of 10 batches don't catch fire properly. Even camphor, which is supposed to catch fire instantly. What to speak of ghee? What to speak of wood? What to speak of having wealth to be able to give charity to people? What to speak of having brahmanas with the pure heart reciting the mantras properly? Practically impossible. Nobody has the means. That's why Kalautad Hari Kirtan it's given. So simply by chanting the holy name, we are engaging the sense of speech, sense of hearing in worshipping the Supreme Lord. And this is considered the ultimate sacrifice for Kali Yuga. Okay. Next. Text 12. Now we are getting to the topic after the introduction.
There are 5 branches of religion, appropriately known as religion, the dharma, religious principle for which one is unfit, paradharma, pretentious religion, abhasa, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, chaladharma. One is aware of your religious life must abandon these 5 religions.
So here this verse speaks about 5 different types of irreligion. Vidharma. Vidharma means irreligion. It obstructs the execution of one's own dharma. You will come across people who would say, why do you have to go to temple? You come across, there was, Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj, in mid 50s, you might have come across. They are against idol worship. They are against any kind of a form, Supreme Lord having any kind of a form. So you'll come across in many religions also, people don't believe that God has got a certain form. You can have form, I can have form, but God cannot have. Because their understanding of having, they think if somebody has a form, that means they are limited. Without form means unlimited. This is their understanding. Okay, so this is also one kind of irreligion, vidharma. Vidharma means you obstruct the execution of one's own dharma. Second one is known as paradharma. Paradharma means imitating religion. You imitate. Imitate what? It is introduced by someone. Prabhupada writes about Rishabhdev. So when Rishabhdev, he practiced a certain process that was not meant to be followed by normal people. That can be followed only by people in the highest order of sannyas. Okay, Paramahamsa sannyasis. So he followed. He didn't bother combing his hair. He didn't bother, feeding himself. He didn't bother even wearing clothes like Digambara. He was just walking, roaming like that. There was one king that's given in Bhagavatam. His name is Arhat. He looked at him and he thought, oh, that looks very cool. I'll also follow that. So that comes under paradharma, wherein you pick up something which you think is actually good and you start your own religion. Okay, concocting your own ways. Understand? So, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. It's given in Bhagavata Puran, which means religion or dharma is a means with which we go to the Supreme Lord. Who can actually tell what is dharma or who can create dharma? Only Supreme Lord. Nobody else can do. Okay, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma means it has to be created by the Supreme Lord, which means we need to understand what does that dharma constitute of. To know that, we have to study scriptures. Without scriptures, we can't understand. You can follow any religion, but you have to still follow the scripture. Understand? Otherwise, everyone concoct their own. So that is paradharma. It has been introduced by someone, and then based on somebody's whims, some group of people just to follow. You will come across like that. Abhasa dharma. Abhasa dharma means, that's the third type that's given. It's a pretentious religion. Pretentious religion means you make up your own devata. There's 33 crore devatas, but you make up your own. I just give you example of a tree. Don't laugh, this is true. In my state, I remember 15 years ago, they have milestone. You know what a milestone is? On the road, by the side of the road, another 15 kilometers to Agra, 14 kilometers to Agra, stone. There was one stone whose paint got rubbed off. God knows, I think they must have painted 50 years ago. They started to worship that as God in one village. Shocked? So this is totally concocted. So people, they make out. I remember in one village close to my town, they were worshipping a tree as God. Okay, this is also a form of Parvati, like that. And then in a turn of events, the tree actually lost its life. Guess what they did? They shifted the god to another tree nearby and they started to worship that. So you will come across many things which do. We laugh, but in modern times people do it with a bit more knack, but the principle is the same. Okay, it's given abhasa. Pretentious religion means, again I give you example, most of the modern day gurus, they say you don't need to study scriptures, just to follow me. They put themselves as God indirectly. Even though externally they may criticize, I'm not saying I'm God like that, but actually that's what it means. Okay, so this is abhasa dharma, whimsically worshipping something. Upadharma, concocted religion. Upadharma means it's created by a proud person who opposes Vedic principles, though posing himself as the follower of Vedas. Can you give me some example? of things which you have come across in your life which didn't sound right. But you have seen people actually doing it. I'll give you one example. I have seen in certain part of India, they worship Narasimha with blood. Doing Abhishekam with blood. Because their point is, he came down to kill the demon. After that, till that point is correct. After that, they just concoct. So he likes blood like that. Anything else? Anyone has come across?
I think the one, the Bhairav Baba, like they do the alcohol.
Alcohol.
I don't find it right.
Correct. Because it's not right. People smoking weeds. It's not right. Understand? Some things you will clearly see instinctively something is wrong. Okay, they all come under Upadharma. Chala Dharma. Chala Dharma means openly cheating religion. Misinterpreting the word of the scriptures, and you'll come across, I'm the next Kalki avatar. So many Kalki avatars have been born and died. Okay, used to be one couple in South India, Andhra Pradesh. He used to say, I am Mahavishnu. Then when they asked, where is your consort? My wife is Mahalakshmi, like that. Then they asked, you are not supposed to come now. Only Kalki Bhagavan is supposed to come now. And he was like, no, I am special avatar. So like that you will come across. There was one pseudo godman. One person challenged him, saying, if you are really God, if you claim yourself to be Krishna, show Vishwarupa. And then he advertised, sure, everyone come to the Maidan, I will do. And then everyone was assembled. The godman alone didn't come. When they asked, he said, sorry, I got stuck in traffic jam. And this person who challenged, he's blasting at him saying, what kind of a God is he? He can't even clear traffic jam. How can he show? How can he show? You see that when they are challenged, they can't actually really answer that one. So these are the 5 types of adharma, irreligion it's given. Vidharma, Paradharma, Abhasa Dharma, Upadharma and Chala Dharma. Okay, religion means it is meant to help us develop love for God. Anything which is not serving that purpose, they fall in one of these categories. Okay, it's 8:10. I'll stop here. Any questions? You can start to serve Prasad. Okay, we have few hands. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai.